that I've worked with who struggled to build their butts because they were overtrained. Here's how they overtrained. One, they were lifting weights 6 days a week. Too much. You want to build muscle? For most people watching this, it's 3 days a week. 3 days full body workouts. That's what'll build muscle. Start with the hip thrusts, the squats, and the deadlifts, as you'll build an incredible butt. But here's the other side. Women who do the 3 days a week, but then they also include the 2 Zumba classes, the spin class, the Orange Theory class. Stop the classes. Not only are they not helping you build a butt, they're taking away from the muscle building signal that you're trying to send.
All right, guys, that's Sal from Mind Pump. They have an amazing podcast if you've never checked it out. But I agree with Sal here. He's talking about women who overtrain, who overreach, who spin their wheels and stagnate because they do too much. Can you do too much? Yes. If you're training glutes 6 days a week, trying to hit the glutes from every angle, doing all the exercises, you're going to spin your wheels. On a side note, I do think you could get away with training the glutes 6 days a week if you just did hip thrusts, 45-degree hypers, kickbacks, and abduction, basically taking out the vertical category and just doing horizontal hip extension and abduction. But I digress because nobody does that. So I agree here, 3 times a week full body is probably ideal for the masses, but I checked out the comment section, it was brutal. For example, here's the top comment. Overtraining is not an issue with the majority. Their intensity of training is not high enough to create the issue of overtraining. Proper nutrition and lifestyle, you can train 5 days a week, if not 6, no problem. Yeah, that guy's right. Sal's not talking about training 6 days a week. He's talking about training glutes 6 days a week, because I don't think Sal would have a problem with a body part split routine where you're hitting 1 or 2 muscle groups a day. But the second part of what he said is what's going to be more controversial, because he said stop the classes. And many scientific people would rightfully point out that the interference effect was largely overrated. Basically, the first study on this topic, it was by Hickson in the 1990s, I believe. It showed huge interference effect from cardio and weight training. And since then, we've learned a lot. It was dramatically exaggerated. So yes, you can do lots of cardio and still build your glutes, but here's why I 100% agree with Sal. The more classes you do, the more cardio you do, the more steps you do, the more it switches your focus away from progressive overload. You want to build insane glutes, get freakishly strong at single leg and double leg patterns of squats, deadlifts, and hip thrusts. That's how you'll see your best glute growth. But who is going to ever set a PR if you went for a jog early in the morning, then you took a Zumba class or a spin class or even a Pilates class, and then you come back in the evening for your weight training? You're just trying to tick off a box. You're not doing it with a purpose in mind, and you're not going to be able to set PRs. So for that reason, he's exactly right. If you did your strength training first thing in the morning, while you're well rested, well fed, feeling great, psyched up, you set the PR, then later on in the day, you get your steps in, you do your cardio, you take your class. In that case, it wouldn't interfere, but that's not the way most people go about their fitness. I'm Bret Contreras, aka The Glute Guy.